Hey guys, Nicole here with Obscure Reptiles and Caging, and today we're going over ball python handling. So let's get started. Hey guys, so this is going to apply for most snake species, but we're going to specifically talk about ball pythons in this one. We're going to be talking about all different things regarding handling ball pythons. So as you guys know, I am a huge fan of snake hooks. We've got an entire video I'll put in the description below just about hook training and why and when you use a snake hook. If you haven't checked that out, please do. But the number one thing about snake handling, I would tell people, make sure that you have a hook. Obviously it doesn't have to be this large. Accidentally got the large size instead of the medium, so that's what we have. But ball pythons, when it comes to handling them, the biggest thing is knowing that animal. The longer you have an animal, the more you're going to learn that animal. I've got quite a few animals in my collection that came from people saying that the animal is just super nasty. They just didn't want it anymore. That's actually how over half my animals came here. And I love grumpy ball pythons. The reason why is most of them are female, if not all of the grumpy ones are females. Grumpy females generally mean they're going to eat really, really well. And the more they're eating, the less you're messing with them. Normally the more eggs and the better eggs that they end up having, in my experience. I do have quite a few nice females who also give us great clutches, but those really aggressive females normally eat really well. They normally have really good nice clutches, and a lot of people can't handle that kind of snake, so I love being able to give them a home. I'll pull a few of those aggressive girls out for you guys to show you. Maybe I'll get bit in this video, who knows. Of course, the day I'm wearing white is the day that would happen. But I'm going to show you guys holding them, what things to look for, and giving you guys some more tips on how to kind of learn your animal. First thing you need to know is, especially if you have, for example, a baby, it's probably going to strike at you, and that's alright. That's what babies do. They have no defense other than their mouth. Just like if you back let's say a barn kitten into a corner and they hiss at you and they swat at you with their nails, that's them defending themselves. That's them trying to make sure the big scary thing isn't bothering them. And we're big scary monsters to baby ball pythons. So especially if you're holding the animal or reaching in for that animal, a lot of times they're going to strike, hiss, huff, roll up into a ball, all that type of stuff, and it's because they're mostly scared of you. Generally, over the years of having a specific animal, they will learn you're not a threat to them, especially if you always show them kindness. You're not hurting them, poking them, doing anything, that would want to make them even more afraid or even more aggressive. But you will still have aggressive animals. If you've got a collection of 20 snakes, chances are one or two of those are just going to be aggressive animals. And just like there's grumpy people out there, there's aggressive snakes. First, I will pull out Tyron. He is breeding season. He's turning around right now. He does not want to be messed with. He wants to be breeding with females. He wants nothing at all to do with me. But this is Tyron. As you can see, he's still looking at me, he's still watching me, but he's pretty relaxed. Of course, right there he goes up in kind of like a strike pose. But the entire time he's watching, he's concerned, he's not hissing, he's tongue flicking, he's really not being too bad. The big lights that I have set up, they love to strike at that. I'm really not going to try to mess with these guys too much. But for example, this is Tyron. You can see he's not striking, he's not hissing, he's not coming back at me. I can hold him with my hand rather than the hook, and it's not going to bother him. You can see he's completely relaxed. Even though he definitely doesn't want me touching him, he's not coming after me, he's not doing anything. He just scared himself, which scared me. But he's being very calm. He's literally just hanging out there, not whipping around at me, but he is scaring himself quite a few times. But I've had him for 6 or 7 years, and that's just always how he's been. He just wants to breed. He doesn't want to be messed with. Even when I put rodents in there for him to eat, he's hissing at him, puffing up at him. He's just a very grumpy and reactive snake. He didn't try to hurt me. He actually didn't even hiss, which I'm impressed. Normally he does, but as you can see, it was nice and calm and smooth. You don't want to be moving your hands like this in front of their face. A lot of times you'll see other not only YouTubers but other reptile people, trying to really get a reaction out of them, and they'll be doing this and moving and doing a whole bunch of stuff in front of their face. You don't want to stress out that animal. There's no need. He was not happy that I was holding him, but he wasn't at all being nasty. I'm going to be limited on who I can take out because a lot of my females have ovulated, which means they're having eggs very soon, and I'm not trying to mess with them, not trying to ruin their day. So that you just saw was a male GHI Mojave. This is actually a female because she loves to strike at my face. But this is a female, lower quality GHI Mojave. But this is from somebody, he actually lived over an hour away, and he drove her all the way to me because she was just so aggressive. I breathed on her too hard and she struck in my face. And I'm just not trying to get bit in the face right now. So that was a GHI Mojave. The guy who actually had her, he had kids and stuff, and she was just super reactive, super striky. She was just a tiny little hatchling when the guy brought her over. She does great, but for whatever reason, as soon as you breathe or really talk around her, she strikes right at any kind of air like that. But again, that's just her and her personality. Most snakes aren't like that, but every animal has their own quirk. Just like every dog does their own thing, every cat has their own personality. And once you're around these animals, you learn what their quirks are, what they like, what they don't like. This one's from a guy named Cody. He had this little girl, and again, super aggressive, super snippy. She'll probably be the one to bite me, but this is a black pastel pied. But as you can see, again, not attacking, not going crazy. She just doesn't particularly like to be handled, and that's okay. Some snakes really don't like to be handled. She's really not whipping around. Same thing. See how her tongue's flicking? Her body's mostly relaxed. She's a little bit rigid, but she's really not doing anything aggression-wise. But if I really mess with her, if I really shook my hand in front of her face, I have no doubt that she would strike. Her head's in strike pose, ready just in case. Now let's show you a relaxed snake. Can't handle any more not relaxed snakes. So this one we're going to do, this will be Hazel. She looks like she's ovulated, or will be very soon, so she might actually be a little bit grumpy. But once I have her out, she should be pretty good. But this is Hazel. Now this is a full-grown girl, but as you can see, her body's completely relaxed. See how her neck's not pulled back in a strike pose? As soon as I let her body go, she's looking around and she's relaxed. When a snake fully pulls back and they're kind of holding their body in a constant strike pose, kind of like that, but she's just looking around because she's so heavy-bodied. She's relaxed. She's very tongue-flicky. Her whole body is completely loose. It's not really rigid in your hand. She's more or less just looking around, seeing what's going on, but you can see how much more relaxed she is, basically. Looking around a lot, but her whole head, her whole demeanor is different. She's not pulled back. She's in a very relaxed position. Wants to see what's going on, wants to move around. I'm sure she's super uncomfortable. We're pretty sure at this point she's probably got, I'm going to go with 8 eggs this year she's going to have. But she's nice and big all in here. Been on her hot side. But I trust her. She's never struck. Even when I pull her egg, she's not too bad. Actually, one of our first few videos we did ever was last year. And it was pulling her clutch of eggs. I can't remember if she was really too bad last year. I know that she'll be a little hissy, a little huffy, but that's just being a good mom. But even now, she's not even grabbed onto me. She's draped over me. This is a great sign that she's not stressed. She's not, she's not holding on tight for dear life. She's just kind of relaxing. I don't want her to flop all over the place because she'll just fall. But very relaxed, not whipping off me. She is very curious. Some snakes like her, she was super active. The other ones that were normally aggressive or have been aggressive in the past, they don't particularly like being held. They kind of hold firm, and if anything freaks them out, they're ready to strike. Her, she was nice and relaxed, looking around. I'll pull out one more that's pretty good at being handled. I don't think this girl's going to have any eggs this year, but then again, last year we didn't know she was going to have any. She ended up having 4 of the tiniest little eggs we've ever seen. And that's where our GHI Mojave fire came from. But this girl, same as the other one. See how she's kind of pulled back, but she's really not. See how her whole her whole front half is nice and loose, cruising around. She's not pulled back. They will pull themselves back a little bit, especially the bigger, heavier bodied ones, just so they can kind of support themselves. But she's just kind of cruising around, looking, her head, neck super flat, just looking around. But even like this, they can still strike at you. If you're really messing in front of their head and they just see the heat of your hand, you're wearing a sleeve and there's just one of these going in front of them, you can really make any snake strike. But the more you handle them, the more often you're holding them, again, by watching them, you really learn their personality. So I know that she's good 90% of the time. The other 10% is when she's really, really hungry. So you open the bin and she comes whipping out. I know she's hungry. If she's in shed, she doesn't care what is coming in. She thinks that's food coming in the cage. Some will be head shy. Most will be head shy. That's where their senses are, their sensory organs. They've got their vents. She's very active, but look right on her chin. They've got those holes and those pits right there. They don't like those being touched. So most of these guys will be head shy. They don't want you going and doing stuff, basically what I'm doing right now. They don't like their head being touched, and that's perfectly okay. Some snakes are not going to like it. Some will be okay with it, like her, and some just really, really don't like it. But you basically have to learn your animal. I would say if you are new, I would get a 1 or 2 year old snake. I wouldn't get a baby because babies are snippy. It's just how they are. They're very afraid of everything. The whole world's out to get them. So, you know, they're known to bite or snip or strike, hiss, turn into a ball, be picky when it comes to eating. It can be a great rewarding experience, but babies you really don't want to touch too much, because the more you touch them and handle them, sometimes, you know, the more likely they are to bite or strike. They will grow out of it, though. 95% of babies will grow out of that aggression just by growing up, just by you taking them out every couple of days to clean them, just by you feeding them, just by kind of knowing you're there, you're not hurting them, you're just moving them to clean, everything's okay. By the 1 or 2 year mark, 90 to 95% of all my snakes have stopped striking, stopped hissing. The longer you're with these guys, the more compassion you have, and the longer you're willing to spend with them, the better that these guys can be. But I hope that explained everything. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We do videos every Wednesday, and I'll see you next Wednesday.